All right. Welcome back to the Last Week This Week podcast, episode 3. I'm Ian Scott.
I'm Zack Huber.
And this is a podcast where we talk about various nerd topics and culture throughout news and TV, film, and gaming. And we're going to talk about stuff in the last week as well as stuff this upcoming week. So I think we have some trailers that we want to get into off the bat.
Yeah. We want to start with the 90s.
that 90s show.
What is it called? That's
that 90s show.
That 90s show?
Isn't it?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I don't care enough to honestly know. But there was that 90s show trailer that came out a week ago.
Yeah,
last
probably.
week. I just watched it this morning with Ian. Ian, do you have thoughts about this trailer that just came out? There
was a teaser that came out like a month ago, and that looked rough. I would say,
yeah, it looked rough.
This trailer showed a lot more of like the jokes, I guess, from this new teen cast that they have. That's living in the 90s. But I guess the only like good thing that they have going is like the Kitty and Red dynamic. Maybe like there was a strong joke in that trailer from Red.
Yeah,
but
I think Red is definitely like the strongest thing for me about watching that trailer. And Kitty, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
great.
I mean, I mean, but none of the cast. I mean, maybe like when we watch the show, it'll like
the context will make it better.
The context, maybe like they don't have the strongest jokes. Maybe it'll feel better. Like it'll feel more connected, and like there's something missing that's not in the trailer that would make things like work better. But
right,
but from this trailer, none of the characters seem particularly unique off of the bat, except maybe like I'm assuming that's Donna and Eric's daughter.
Leia?
Is that?
Yeah, that's their daughter. Yeah.
Is that?
They're together. They're parents, and they have a daughter named Leia.
So it seems like.
Also, sorry, go on.
No.
I was gonna say Kelso and Jackie are also together and have a kid.
That's one of the members?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think the love interest of Leia eventually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have questions.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that Kitty is making a place for
for her grandkids,
right?
Yeah.
Well, for her grandkid, I guess, right?
Oh, yeah, her one kid. Yeah.
To like have her friends just hang out, but like there's like.
Well, I mean, but
it definitely seems
kid.
Like I get the feeling that like Donna and Eric's kid is not staying with her parents for a particular reason.
So the concept is that she's visiting her grandparents for the summer.
That doesn't seem as, because like in the original show, you went through the different seasons and like they were at school too, which made it like, it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Maybe like by the end of season 1, she moves in fully and like, then we start to see, like their school year and whatnot in the next season.
Maybe, but like, I don't. Yeah,
I mean, it was cool to see all 5 of them. Besides Hyde.
Well, that's not happening,
which is fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. I mean,
but no, I mean, it'll be nice to see them again. I hope that they're written, better than their last couple seasons.
Yeah, I don't even really remember how those last seasons went, to be completely honest.
Well, from what I remember is that like both Kelso and Eric like left in the last 2 seasons, and then Jackie for some reason starts dating Fez.
Oh yeah,
and doesn't Fez get like super jacked and like handsome by the end of the show?
Well, I mean, I think he was always like,
sure, but like I think they wrote that into the character, is that like he was like all of a sudden kind of cool. And
maybe they did.
I could be wrong, but
they might have.
Yeah,
it's hard to remember, but I was also gonna say that it doesn't seem like any of the original cast members, besides like Tommy Chong and Kitty and Red, they've aged. Kitty less so, and really Red, it's just like his hair.
They look pretty much exactly the same.
But all the other cast members, I'm like, Eric looks the same.
Yeah.
Donna looks the same. Kelso looks the same.
Yeah.
But none of the teen characters really. Two of the guys seem like it's weird,
like the exact same dude, or what?
The same exact dude almost, and then like it's like they have that Asian.
To me, he's the Fez character,
which I'm like,
right?
Oh, okay. So we're just gonna have like somebody who's like not like predominantly like American. Like we're just gonna have.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be one, right?
I mean, it seems like such a trope thing that I'm like, really, we want to. Where it's like 2022 and we want to. I don't know. It seems a little like
maybe that's like they're doing that and it's like super on the head because it's the 90s and that's a trope from the 90s too. I don't know.
Is it a trope from the 90s?
Well, I mean, it still existed in the 90s, right?
When did that 70s show come out?
The 90s.
So I guess that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, are you going to watch it?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a chance. Even though like I know it's Netflix. I know they don't have a good track record in a lot of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I was talking to somebody else about this and my original thought, like when I heard about the show and didn't see the trailer, is that I thought Eric and Donna were going to be like the new Kitty and Red. Like I thought they were going to be
right.
Yeah. Like in their role and having to like experience what, Kitty and Red experienced firsthand for years. And I think that would have been way more interesting.
Yeah. And have like Kitty and Red.
Like do some cameos sometimes. Yeah. But I think that's a little disappointing for me, is that it seems like the 5 main, from the first show are going to be more cameo like. And I think Kitty and Red are going to be main cast as well.
Kitty and Red are definitely main cast.
Yeah.
Which it makes sense. You're going to want to have that basement, you're going to want to have that house to be like familiar, but also the thing about that house is that it's like very like 70s.
Sure. Yeah, it's not very 90s. Yeah.
And I have to say, like, a lot of the outfits don't like strike me as 90s.
Maybe the kids.
Even, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, for sure, some of them look like they're from like Dawson's Creek or something.
Right.
But even to a certain extent, like 80s in a way. But whatever. I don't know. I'll check it out. Maybe I don't have Netflix at the moment, but I guess I'll check it out.
You heard the track in the background playing, right?
No.
It was like a 90s like punk kind of grungier version of the like original theme song. We're all right.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. I don't know how I love that, but I'm curious to see it as an actual theme song for the show. I don't think it's gonna be super well received, considering the first theme song was really good.
I don't think do any of these remakes ever get well received. Like, what was the other like they've done like 1 or 2 of like these like new, like Fuller House. Was that well received?
It wasn't, but I liked Fuller House. I watched the first 2 seasons of it, and I mean I really liked Full House when I was a kid. So yeah. I mean the same cheesiness from Full House is like exactly there in Fuller House. So if you like that cheese, then you're gonna like Fuller House.
I guess we'll see how they do it. It's just
It's funny. I forgot that Fuller House was on Netflix. That kind of makes me a little more excited for this. Weirdly, yeah, because like there are parts of Fuller House that I think are really good, but yeah, I get people not liking it.
I've never seen it, so
you probably wouldn't like it.
I don't really like love sitcoms, but like I think that 70s show was like a special one. I mean, I loved Full House as a kid, but I can't see myself like sitting through for it.
No, I don't think, I would really want to watch it today.
Yeah. But well, anyways, besides that trailer, we have another trailer that came out that I have a lot of interest in. I think most people do.
I mean, M. Night Shyamalan always has a cool filming style and storytelling style. So
yeah, and I've definitely been like a fan of all the work that he's been doing lately.
Yeah.
And that's Knock at the Cabin.
2.
Isn't
this the second one?
What? The second trailer.
Oh, is that the second trailer? Okay, I thought there might have been a first movie before this.
No.
That's funny. Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, this is the first movie. And my thoughts, I saw the original trailer, which didn't really give too much away.
I didn't see the first trailer, I guess. So, but I've seen obviously the second one 2 or 3 times now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This one gives a lot more of the story.
Yeah.
And my thoughts about it is, first of all, Dave Bautista, this is a great, he seems like he's like doing a great job. Like I'm like already super into
he's at the peak of his like acting right now.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to see him in this role.
He just seems like, I just love there's something about him with those glasses that I'm like, man, you're fucking creepy. Like this,
but the way he's like talking so matter of fact is so like, it adds to it.
He's like, he's like really like, your family has been chosen.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
we don't want to hurt you. You know,
he's like really about this shit.
You have to make a choice. Like, whoa,
and he's so menacingly. There's something about him like with that outfit. And the fact that he's so big.
Yeah. But he's just kind of like
he's this
playing
like
a normal
fanatic, dude. Just like, but he's like a nerdy fanatic. Like it's just like he's this. If I saw
he's
him,
just a normal guy, and like usually I would assume, but like all those 4 people are now like, I want to know why those 4 people are the ones to tell him this. Like.
Yeah. Also, Rupert Grint.
Yeah.
Who I don't know if you've watched stuff that he's been in.
Maybe like one thing since Harry Potter.
What would that?
I honestly don't remember, but I know I've seen him like at least once since.
Well, I was watching not a movie, a show on Apple TV that he's been in. I think it's called Servant.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
I watched 2 seasons, and it's like it's the wrong name. I think it's Servant, but it's like he's the brother of this couple, like the sister, the wife in this couple that like lose a baby, and so to cope with it, the wife has this fake baby that they pretend is real so she can like ease out of the but then like they hire this nanny who to like just watch the kid, the fake baby, right?
Yeah,
this all happens in the first episode, and because she's like, okay, I'm gonna leave Jericho with you, and like this is all like a thing, and like
does the nanny like fully ignore it? Is that what happens?
No. Like Rupert Grint is like not about. He's like, you need to. This is nonsense. Like so. Yeah. But the nanny's like, just like at first when you see her, she's like, acting like it's real, and then the husband's like, oh, that's great that you're acting like it's real. But she doesn't. So like when the wife leaves, she keeps acting like it's real.
Okay.
And he's like, you can stop. And she's like, it's okay. Then the baby is alive.
What?
All of a sudden.
Okay. Do you know the twist why it's alive or?
I've seen 2 seasons and I know a little bit more. It's awesome.
Wow. So there's not like the full answer there after 2 seasons.
Yeah,
wow.
But and also the funny thing is that's actually produced by M. Night Shyamalan.
Of course,
so that ties into all this. Right. But he's great in that show.
That's cool to know that like M. Night Shyamalan likes Rupert Grint.
Yeah. I mean he's really good.
Nice.
But I was gonna say like at first, when I watched the first trailer, I thought that it would be like, I was like really like doubtful. I was like, is this really going to be like, is the world ending? They never showed really anything, maybe like a TV clip, but I was like, maybe that could just be like,
somebody could be doctoring footage up.
Right.
Yeah.
But this one, there's literally like an airplane falling out of the sky. There's lightning hitting the ground.
Yeah, there's like real world effects that they can see.
So I'm like, I know there's gonna be a twist because it's M. Night, but I don't know if this is gonna be like there's an old religion.
Oh, you think it would be that like random, like out of left field with it? Because to me, like maybe the twist that I'm thinking of would be like, I mean, it's a really simple one, so probably wouldn't be this, but like, you know, they're like, oh, well, you have to sacrifice someone in the cabin, and so they just end up like killing one of the four.
No, or, I mean, it seems like it's specifically
like one of those three,
the family. Because what I was going to point out is when I was watching a trailer, Rupert Grint's character is like on his knees at some point in the trailer, and he's got his like a bag over, like a cloth over his head.
I don't think he has a line in that trailer.
No, he does.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah. And he specifically is saying, "Please choose." So it seems like there at some point in the movie, Rupert Grint's character is being used as like leverage, as like, if you don't kill somebody, we're going to like start with him and kill him.
Wow. Interesting.
That's what I'm
Could
predicting.
Be. I mean, but like, it also seems like that woman was pleading and like got super emotional because she also had a kid. You know, like they all, I think, have like some massive stakes.
Maybe like some of the group don't even know that this was like the original plan or something. But I don't know.
Yeah,
they probably do, most likely. But I don't. I think they do have to sacrifice, but I'm just wondering like what's causing it. Like, I wonder how what the thing could be. So it's not like, because if you were like in Aliens, we're doing it because alien, like I think that would be too.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough,
weird. Like, but I think it's like some old religion or something.
This concept almost feels like if you were like a kid and were like, oh, you have to sacrifice one of your family members or else the world's gonna end. You know, it's like,
oh yeah, maybe it's like some like, maybe it's some like.
I feel like it's simpler than some like weird religion. You know.
Yeah, I know. Like that's just the first thing that goes to my head, though. Is like but this is based off of a book, apparently.
Oh, okay.
So I guess you could read about it, but. That's also interesting. I was also thinking, this would be really frustrating. I really hope that it's not this, but what if it's like a simulation? You know, that would like really bother me if they went that route, because I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. But so none of it really was.
I don't know if you've seen Old.
Yeah, that was the last movie he did. Yeah,
I know the twist. I didn't see the movie, but like. I know at the end, like it would be very similar to that twist if he did a simulation again. Like it would be somebody watching.
But it
wasn't a simulation, but it was people like setting up an environment and they were being
spoilers.
Like, yeah, sorry. Yeah. But yeah, you know, they were like being watched and from a controlled area.
But it wasn't like a that would be interesting, right? Yeah. That I would be, but I would be like, do you want to go that way again? Uh-huh. Like that last movie you did was pretty much.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but it's not like M. Night has the strongest twist.
But it would be a different kind of because like this simulation's like, if it was a simulation like that, like the way that you're talking about, like it could work because it's like. We're testing, like it's like almost like a reality TV show, like who are you gonna choose, as opposed to Old, which was more like they were doing it for scientific research.
Sure. That would be interesting. I like that kind of twist of the reality show. Yeah,
but all of these, I'm like, I want to not be true, and I want it to be something like
that we just aren't seeing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like I want it to be really unexpected.
Yeah, I'd love it to blow my mind.
Yeah. But do you have any like closing thoughts about it?
I mean, I think it's probably going to be really strong. I like that idea that, you know, basically it's not your conventional family, that it's a family who's, you know, pretty much chosen each other. And so
are you talking about the 4 people?
No, the 3. You know, basically like the 2 dads and an adopted daughter. Like I think like the subtle theme there is really nice, and like it makes it even harder that they have to like choose another person to like leave. You know?
That's yeah. That's interesting.
But I mean, I'm excited to see it. That's February, right?
I'm not. It might be, but I'm super excited too.
Yeah. Nice.
Also, is it coming out in February? Is Quantum Mania coming out in February, or is it March? It might be March.
Got to be March. Yeah.
So there was on the Fiesta Bowl, I guess it was
for college. Yeah.
For college football, it was announced that there will be a Quantum Mania trailer airing on January 9th.
Pretty soon.
So by the time that this by the time of our next podcast,
we'll be talking
about the new Quantum Mania trailer, and I'm pretty sure that'll probably be the last one that you see, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for this podcast, I probably wouldn't be watching this trailer. But this will probably be the last trailer I see for Quantum Mania.
All right, so I follow like a YouTube channel, John Campea, and apparently this, from a source that he's heard from, this is supposed to be like the trailer that like is like, I gotta go now. I'm like, oh fuck, like kind of how like Multiverse of Madness trailer was like, oh well, shit, like, you know, Patrick Stewart and
yeah, okay, yeah.
So I think,
you think we see some cameos?
So I think I just want to like speculate. I have like a few ideas about like what we might see from this trailer, or like what maybe I would like to see. I don't know if you know about the toys that have leaked, because that tends to happen with a lot of these superhero movies.
I haven't seen the toys.
Okay, well, it's pretty apparent that MODOK is going to be in this movie, which is awesome.
Finally, yeah.
I don't know how they're gonna do it and make it cool.
They're gonna bring in the Hulu one,
bro. I was like,
oh man,
I was like, if they do Patton Oswalt's Hulu, oh my god,
there's no way they get him as a voice actor, right?
I mean, I
or do you think there's somebody's face in that? Like,
because it does seem like it's like a metal casing.
Oh, for the toy?
Like, it doesn't seem like that's like a human head.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or not human, I mean, but you know,
it feels like there's a human face there at least. But at least in like most MODOK designs. I don't know about this new one. But
oh, have you not seen it?
I haven't seen the toy at all. No.
Oh, I mean, if you want to look it up,
sure.
Can, but yeah, I mean, that Patton Oswalt MODOK, I don't know if you saw any episodes.
I've heard it's really bad.
Yeah. I've seen like a little bit, and it was it. But I'm interested. I think we're gonna get our first look at MODOK. I don't know what to necessarily expect. I think somehow Kang and MODOK are probably at odds with each other. Something.
There's no way Kang is cool with MODOK, right? I mean,
I would assume not.
And if he is, he's just using him.
Yeah, there's something going on there.
Yeah. But yeah, I just saw the MODOK leak toy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know how I feel about that design.
It's a little weird.
It's kind of a bummer.
But
yeah.
Well, I don't. But like, the more that I've looked at it, the more it grows on me. Like when I first saw Gore, I was like the toy design, I was like, I don't know. But then we saw Christian Bale's look, and I was like, oh no, that's cool.
And I do really like Gore's look in the comics, but like he looked really good in the movie.
He did look really good in the movie. But I think we're gonna get more of like Kang's. I think we're definitely getting like more of a general idea of the story. I think we're gonna get more of like, what is Kang's deal?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if we do get some sort of sequence that shows him killing multiple versions of Avengers because in that first trailer, I think he says like, "Haven't I killed you before?"
Sure, but like to me, it's like, well, now his new like variations that are spawning from the end of Loki are going to be the ones that like repeat the cycle of like killing the Avengers, you know? Right. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like happened technically like in the past, like in this timeline, but I think not
in Scott's like the 616 timeline,
right?
But I think that's kind of what.
Yeah, like you think this guy is like traversing different multiverses and like wiping out some of the Avengers like throughout them?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that this is like predominantly supposed to be like his home base of operations. Like I think
the Quantumverse.
Well, it's called something in the comics where he like has his base of operations, and it looks that spinning city with the rings is. But
like, I mean, we think that's in the Quantumverse, right?
No, that's definitely in the quantum realm. Okay. Yeah, but
the quantum realm. Sorry. Yeah.
But they use the quantum realm to go back in time.
Yeah.
There's something with time heavily used in the quantum realm that's going to be like super big for the rest of the like phase 5 and onward. I think we're going to get a lot. Yeah. We might get some idea of how this all links together with like, because I don't know if you've noticed like there's the Bengals in Miss Marvel.
Okay.
And then you have
the rings.
The 10 rings. And then you have in Eternals, there's the I forget what it's called, the Unimind. Wasn't it called the Unimind? Which is just that ring that like, or they all have a ring or something.
Oh,
but it's still a ring.
Okay.
So there's
just a bunch of artifacts popping
all these
up.
artifacts, specifically though, like rings, like bands, like these things.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like too much of like people looking inward or me looking inward, but there is a lot of fucking rings.
Yeah. I mean, there was even that like end credit scene in Shang-Chi.
Right.
Where
it's sending a signal.
Right.
Somewhere.
Where Bruce was like, hey, I don't know what this is doing right now, but we'll come back to it.
Yeah. And it's like something about it. It's like, it's all tying together somehow. I think honestly, I do think it's a little weird that it's like rings or whatever.
Sure. But like, do you think maybe that's who, like Kang is hunting down, are the people with these artifacts?
I think they have something, their power, because like we see like at the end of Miss Marvel, like she's literally swaps place with Captain Marvel because of the Bengals.
Well, I mean, from what I know,
and there's a different plane that they are sharing the space with. Like
the Marvel, like the Miss Marvel thing. I know that like for some reason, like from what I've heard is that like when they use their powers, like it might trigger like a switching like spots kind of thing. So I don't know if that has anything to do with like the bangle per se. But
I think I think something happened. Like I think specifically the bangle like lit up.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd have to watch that scene again.
Yeah. Maybe I do too. But there's also, I think there's a character that I think it's confirmed is named Quasar.
Okay.
Who's going to be in this movie? Who literally has quantum bands.
More bands,
cool. Bands, right? He has these quantum bands, so he like gets his powers from the quantum realm.
Yeah,
it's all tying in. Janet Van Dyne, who is Hope's mother and Hank's wife,
right?
Is like, there's something I forgot to tell you. Obviously, she knows something. Do you think she knows Kang? Do you think she knows something about Bill Murray's character?
I think she knows a lot about the quantum realm. It wouldn't surprise me if like I don't think she knows Kang, because I do think Kang hadn't popped up until after she had left the quantum realm. I think, yeah, maybe she knows Bill Murray's character, whoever that is. I am curious to see if like her powers come into play at all in this.
Who, Janet?
Yeah. Remember, she had powers at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp.
She had powers?
Yeah.
Like what powers?
She fully cured Ghost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
yeah.
But I feel like I don't see her a lot in the trailer. Like, I feel like maybe in the beginning and then that's it.
No. She gets sucked in and you see her like, I think she's the one like riding.
Is that right?
This, okay. Yeah, whatever that thing is.
I guess I just kind of assumed it was just going to be like Scott, Janet, and Cassie.
You mean Scott, Hope, and Cassie?
Yeah, sorry, Hope.
Yeah. So, I mean, my general thoughts is we're definitely going to get more of the story. I wouldn't be surprised if we get cameos, like brief cameos of other Avengers, just briefly, like them in other realms,
universes, or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think we're going to get our first look at MODOK. I think these heroes that we're going to see are from Phase 4. Like, I think we're going to... No. Yeah, we won't be seeing Chris Evans or... No, yeah, I mean, sure. But like, I'm even thinking like Thor or, like, I think they're going to be... Like, I feel like they want to show off maybe the new stuff that they came out with in Phase 4. Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I think... But... With the artifacts, it would be Miss Marvel and Shang-Chi. But like, would Scott know who... Those characters? No. Right. No, so I don't know. Maybe honestly, the cameos thing, like, 'cause I could see like a Captain Marvel. I could see like a Spider-Man. Well, maybe. But, yeah. Well, he does have another cameo that he's got a contract lined up for. Really? Yes. He's got one more cameo with Marvel? Yeah. I believe so. Okay. So it could be. But I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. I know we also, we've been wanting to talk about the James Bond casting. Yeah. So, well, it's not been casted, but you're right. The rumors of the casting. Yeah. So I get we'll move on to Aaron Taylor Johnson being looked at to play James Bond. Yep. Yeah. Now this is coming from somebody from the Puck. I forget who the I tried looking at the article and it was a paywall, so that's... Oh, really? Yeah, that's fun. That's frustrating. Yep. But Aaron Taylor Johnson, who has played Quicksilver, Kick-Ass, he was in Bullet Train, and he's going to be playing Kraven the Hunter this year for Sony. Wow, he's had a lot of comic roles. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. He's apparently been in talks with the Broccoli family, who owns James Bond. Yeah. About being him in the future. And I mean, it goes right in line with what they were saying they wanted from the next actor. Like, they wanted an actor in their 30s. Yeah. Which he is, and he's an English actor that is very famous. So, which apparently, if Kraven does well, or I think this other movie with Ryan Reynolds, Fall Guys, if that does really well, he might be, apparently from the article, too famous. Really? Like, I mean, they don't want somebody who's like very famous, which I can respect. I can respect it too. You don't want people showing up, I guess, for the actor instead of James Bond. Right. So yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, like, Daniel Craig, I feel like both him and Pierce Brosnan were pretty like well known at the time. I think Pierce Brosnan was like something that fans had been like pushing for. Yeah. And then Daniel Craig, what was he in before James Bond? Do you know? Because I don't know. I think that was the role that kind of like made him. Yeah. Yeah. At least for me. I think you're right. And now he's been like definitely trying to get away from James Bond. Well, yeah. I mean, I think doing a really good job at that though. Yeah. Like from what I could tell is that he
really struggled with like the physicality of James Bond. And I think he was just like, I don't know, you've probably heard the reports from like the filming of Spectre, how like unhappy he was, and
with the movie, or
with, I think just his like his time with it. Like, I just don't think he enjoys that kind of acting. And like from what I've heard, like with Glass Onion, is that like he was like 10 times happier on the set of that. And
yeah,
which makes sense. I think that's like a way more fun character for him. Like it's
yeah. I mean, definitely be the way that the Daniel Craig movies started to go. By the time you hit Skyfall, which I love, I know some other people are like, it's just the Dark Knight.
I mean, on my second, or not my second, but you know, like I watched it in the past year or two, and I will say I think it's weaker than when I first saw it, but I still think it's like really good.
Okay, yeah. I definitely want to check it out. It's been a minute, but I still like was in love with that movie when it came out.
Yeah.
But you know, by the time you hit like going like, because even in Skyfall, like he wasn't like, say what you want about like Quantum of Solace, like that movie, I think he was still having a bit of fun, whereas like Skyfall, definitely we started to go into like the serious, and then Spectre was like a weird one, which was like, it was like they didn't, that one was just like all over the place tonally wise.
I feel like I'm probably in the minority here, but I do like Spectre. Like I think it's like way stronger than the last one.
I gotta disagree. Hard disagree.
Yeah, to me, like I think the buildup of Spectre in that movie is really well done.
I will agree with that.
Like they're made so intimidating, and I really like the connection to like the main villain that was like his childhood best friend. I think that's like it's all.
Was I think, he really his childhood best friend,
or one of his childhood friends?
See, that's the thing that I think a lot of James Bond fans got like really frustrated with. Is like, this is all his like things from his past that have now accumulated into like because like it's like really his childhood best friend.
Yeah, I will say like that's the weakest part of the movie for me, is like when that guy takes credit for like the past 3 movie villains, and I'm like, I don't know if that's really like, I don't think the writing is there to suggest that you like were the mastermind behind everything.
Right.
But I think what's the last one called? No Time to Die. Right. Okay. In that one, they dismantle Spectre so fast that it just pisses me off. Like, I think like spoiler alert, I think the entirety of Spectre dies like in one scene, and like towards the beginning of the movie. And
right. Yeah.
And then this new villain is like, well, I guess you're the top dog now, but like I mean, I don't know. To me, it was just weaker writing.
Yeah, I will say Spectre has, I think, the best cold open to a James Bond.
Oh yeah,
out of all the Daniel Craigs, like that.
That was the Day of the Dead festival. Right? Yeah.
That was awesome.
It was very cool.
I agree. Lead up to Spectre was great. There's just things that like I think at Blofeld's mansion compound, it was a little like I don't know, like there's something about Christoph Waltz that like that times he was really good in that movie, and at other times I was like,
maybe that's goofy, because like I really like Christoph Waltz.
I love him, but and then towards the end it was kind of goofy with the bomb threat or whatever was going on.
But I will say, that like that last like where he sets up like basically like a maze inside this.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. He gets very like comic book villain in that. Yeah. Sure.
But I think, with No Time to Die. Anyways, we're kind of getting off topic, but anyways, No Time to Die, I definitely agree, not the best villain, but I felt more emotionally connected to that movie, and I thought that the tone of it was, well, there were times where it was still iffy about the tone, but I thought the tone was a little bit more even, and I thought like,
I think the ending's better than Spectre.
Ending's great. Yeah, way better than Spectre. I think the intro is still
Intro's
like
really good.
Really good. I was like,
the intensity of like Bond feeling like he got betrayed is at an all-time for that franchise.
Just definitely weaker villain, and I think it's tying back to Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think we're kind of done with the James Bond who's like older. We're kind of done.
Sure, I think we would like to see a youthful, but I mean, I feel like we got to see that in the first Daniel Craig movie.
Yeah, but then everything kind of passed that.
Sure,
he was always like wanting to just retire.
And sure, in the first movie he literally retires.
You know,
I think that's the thing is like the 5 movies of Daniel Craig's James Bond do have like, there is a continuity and you can watch them all like back to back, and it's not like the cleanest because they didn't plan it out.
No,
I think,
but it's still pretty good.
It's pretty good,
at least like going up to like Skyfall.
I think going up to Spectre, I think is pretty solid. I think it gets a little like muddied in the last one with.
I think it gets muddy in Spectre.
Sure, but like I think that's where they're clearly going to correct to me is that
Do you think it's going to be like more individual stories?
No, I think the opposite. I think they're going to like fully plan out like a multi-movie arc, and I think they are going to connect. Like I think they want the sequels to like really matter. I think that's trending in the direction of like cinematic universes.
I know, but I think that that family and the way that they've treated James Bond is like a very sacred thing. And I
agree. Yeah.
I think that I would hope that they go back to like individual stories. Like there's a continuity of some sort. Like we'll keep those characters. Like I wonder if they'll keep like the person that plays Q.
Yeah. I mean, they did from Pierce Brosnan to Daniel Craig.
Well, that was for M.
Right. That would be interesting if they kept Q.
I like him.
Yeah, I think that would just be a little confusing. I mean, even for me, like it's a little confusing to have M in both Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig James Bonds.
Yeah,
but I would like to at least see like, and I know James Bond, like Daniel Craig's James Bond, at least did this with his love interest, where it like continued out through multiple movies.
Yeah,
like especially from Spectre to No Time to Die. But yeah, I would like to see a little more, I guess, continuity throughout the movies.
I feel like I kind of want the opposite. I think I just like kind of want like to go back to.
I think you're kind of like fresh off of like Knives Out and Glass Onion that like have barely anything like connecting them except the main character, and it works really well.
I mean, like I think that would be a good way to go. And so. What do you think about Aaron Taylor Johnson?
I think he's a good choice. I think he's tall enough. He's young enough. He's
tall enough.
I mean, he's like 6'1", 6'2", I think.
I mean, he's definitely could.
Yeah. And
I think I can totally see it. Like if they don't go with him.
And he'll have the physique.
But like I could totally see him as James Bond.
Totally. I think he works really well for it.
And I think he's got like I think he can play a spy. Like I think he can play the James Bond, like
I mean, he might be able to. I don't know if we've seen him in that kind of role before, but
I think he could. I can see it. Like I really think that he could play like somebody who's like charming and also kicks ass and also like exactly.
I mean, he was charming in a different way in Kick Ass. So
I think from what I've seen from Bullet Train, like he's got that.
He's got kind of like a swag to him. Yeah.
I don't know what else I've seen him in, but
Avengers, dude.
Yeah. Well, he was. I mean, besides that accent.
I thought the accent was fine.
I think Emily Olsen's or Elizabeth Olsen. Elizabeth Olsen.
Uh-huh.
I think hers was worse.
Better. Oh, worse than his?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I have to watch it again.
Because like she even pulls out that accent again in WandaVision, and I think it's good there.
It was much better there.
Okay, but
which was interesting.
Yeah.
It was like
how does your accent get
still
better?
have the accent? Because like you get to Multiverse of Madness, it's like I don't think that accent's there at all.
Oh, wow! I think you're right.
Like I don't think she has that accent at all.
That's rough. Yeah, I feel like she should have.
Does she have the accent in Infinity War?
I mean, she was kind of barely. Well, no, she had lines in that.
Yeah, like when her and Vision are like.
I don't know. Maybe she's like she has to be like really pissed for it. But she was really pissed in Multiverse of Madness, right?
I know you would think that's the one.
Yeah, she should have had it there.
Yeah. But I think Aaron Taylor Johnson. I kind of just want it now. Like I kind of just want that casting.
I do.
I'm down for it.
I'm down for it. Yeah. Unless there's another one that like blows me out of the water soon, then
yeah. Or just like a complete unknown. But it seems like that they're maybe judging what his performance, like how the movies for like Kraven and this Fall Guys movie is going to go before they go for that particularly.
What is Fall Guys?
I don't know. It was like part of the article that there's this. He's teaming up with Ryan Reynolds. Oh yeah, it's like the video game.
Yeah, I hope it's not that or like it kind of. It's.
I don't think Fall Guys is like popular enough to.
Not anymore. I don't think.
Yeah, like.
But like I know there was Free Guy. Is this maybe a sequel to that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, yeah, I don't see Kraven doing amazing, to be honest.
I mean, we don't know.
But
you're
like,
just basing it off their track record.
I'm also basing it off of like think of Black Adam and how that didn't make the money they thought it would, and it like and Dwayne Johnson's
I don't think Aaron Taylor Johnson's as big of a draw as like The Rock.
Well, that's even more of like a worrisome factor. You know, like people were going to the theater to see The Rock, and now they're going to see a character that most like average, like movie fans don't know the character, and it's in this weird Sony verse that they just saw Morbius in. So,
though I would argue that most people don't even know that those movies are connected. Like they won't even know. They won't know.
I mean,
like they're just be like, oh, there's this movie about like that looks like he hunts people, maybe.
But I feel like everyone. I don't know. Maybe that's just my perception, but I feel like everyone saw the line where like Morbius was joking to a criminal that he's like, I'm Venom. And he's like, no, I'm just Dr. Michael Morbius. I was like, well.
No. Well, yeah. But I don't know. Like, we're going to have to see the trailer for Kraven. I hope it's good.
Let's say maybe I'm hoping it doesn't do very well so I can see him as James Bond. Maybe that's my inner feelings there.
I mean, that's a valid point.
Yeah.
And I know how you stand about Sony, so
yeah.
But I think that's mostly our thoughts. You have a topic that you I don't have, but
I would like to take a quick break first if you're cool with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. We want to talk a little bit about the Ocean's 9 rumors that came out in the last couple days. It seems like it might be being worked on years after Ocean's 8 came out. I think that was 2018, 20 something around there.
I think so. Yeah.
And now they might be adding Zendaya to it.
It's a rumor. It's not confirmed.
Yeah, let me see who posted that article. But yeah, I think I've seen all the Ocean's movies, and so Screen Rant put it out. So Screen Rant's pretty reliable. But yeah, I think I might be a minority opinion here. I liked Ocean's 8 for the most part. I think it's stronger than it's for sure stronger than Ocean's 12 and probably Ocean's 13. And I think the cast that was put out there for the first movies, like really, really well done, except maybe for Rihanna. I think
shut your mouth.
I'm sorry. I thought she was the weakest part of that entire movie.
She was great.
She was not. But
how dare you? She was great.
Hopefully she does a little bit better of a job as 8-Ball next time.
I thought she was fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Everyone else was great, I thought. But yeah, maybe Awkwafina was a little annoying, but that's
fair enough.
Yeah.
There's a little too many like sleight of hand jokes.
Yeah. But I think the plot for that first movie was really kind of like topical and was simple enough that like it was pretty easy to follow, and the heist I think worked better for it. Like you got to see like key moments of it, and yeah, I think having it at the Met Gala was really fun. I think like to see all those actors as like characters and not themselves at the Met Gala was kind of fun.
Yeah. Thought it was fun. I mean, it's the only Ocean's movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's crazy you haven't seen Ocean's 11. Because I think Ocean's 11, like, even though it's not great, I think it's like your like maybe your most classic like heist movie that you could see. Yeah.
You know what I thought was maybe the weakest person in the movie?
In Ocean's 8?
Yeah.
Which one? Was that Anne Hathaway?
No. Okay. She was great.
I thought she was great too. Yeah.
Blindside. Who's not
Sandra Bullock? Yeah.
I wasn't like she was. No, I mean she was.
Yeah.
Like she did a good job, but like I gotta say she was like the character that like I was least like connected to.
I will say they really like mirror. I don't know if you remember the beginning scene where she's like.
Doesn't she get out of prison?
Yeah. It's like if you see Ocean's 11, it's like the exact same movie. Yeah, not the rest of the movie, but like the beginning at least is like exactly what George Clooney did with Danny Ocean. Yeah, and
Danny Ocean.
well, that's so Sandra Bullock is his sister.
Yeah.
And I don't think George Clooney is in Ocean's 8, right?
No. Maybe.
There's I think 2 people who come back from the Ocean's 11, 12, 13 cast.
I know, yeah. I can't remember.
I know the Asian guy comes back.
I don't know.
I know one of the older guys comes back.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I know Matt Damon I think was supposed to make a cameo, and then, his like Me Too thing kind of happened.
There was a Me Too thing with him?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, maybe there was.
I think, yeah. I don't know exactly what.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know. Yeah. So yeah, I think like I was fully expecting like with Ocean's 8 to come out for it to be like, oh yeah, clearly we're making a trilogy because 8, 9, 10 would go right into 11, 12, 13. You know, like.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
Well, but it that's
doesn't.
A weird.
Ocean's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
But like, I feel like people who are like wanted to get into that would be like, oh, I start with 8.
Yeah.
But it'd be like, what? No. Because like 11's like.
I mean, you could start with 8. I mean, but it does take place after 11.
Yeah. It's not like how Star Wars is.
Yeah. It's interesting for sure. I think even though 8 wasn't all that great, sorry for the rhyme there, I think it's gonna be a good time as a heist movie.
Yeah. I'm mildly intrigued.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds cool. I guess having Zendaya.
Cool. Yeah.
All I was thinking about was like, you were saying that it's better than 12. Is like I love
12 was so bad, man. It was so bad.
I've never seen it, but it's just so funny because I love the show What We Do in the Shadows, and there.
Is there no some 12 joke?
They have their neighbor, Sean. One of the vampires, Laszlo, is like his best friend is like their neighbor Sean. It's like, Sean, hey! And like when they finally go over to his house for, I think it's like a Super Bowl party, but they think it's they think it's the Superb Owl party. So I think it's like this owl ceremony going. But anyways, they like eventually he like takes them downstairs, and he's like the biggest Ocean's 12 fan.
No.
So he has like all this memorabilia, and he's like, Ocean's 11 is great, but 12 is really underrated. And he's like, got all this memorabilia of Ocean's 12. Yeah. And that's like all I could think about.
Yeah, I'll
so
say,
funny you say it's so bad.
It really is, because like the plot of Ocean's 12 is pretty much like some like really world-renowned like art thief, or just like art thief in general, basically challenges them to like a thief off. And like and it's just like, it's way worse. And then gosh, there's a really bad twist. I don't know if you like actually care about spoilers or not.
I mean, you go for it.
Like there's a really bad part of the movie where like who plays George Clooney's wife in that? I've never seen it. No, the movie that just came out with George Clooney.
Oh, Julia Roberts.
Okay, so she's his wife in those movies too. She, I guess, gets involved in the heist in this one, and basically like she dresses up as Julia Roberts to fool everyone. Yeah.
What?
Yes. She like
wow.
Yeah. It's like, what are we doing right now?
She dresses up
as herself.
So Julia Roberts is a character, like is a person.
She's an actress in that universe, and that character, I guess, looks similar enough. To everyone.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a little rough. I think that's where I was like
wild.
Super rolled my eyes.
Did they go like, hey, well, I can't, people tell me I look like Julia Roberts.
I'm sure. Yeah, there's probably, yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing.
It's not like the big twist of Ocean's 12, but it's like a pretty big like part of the heist.
Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah, if you are feeling adventurous after watching Ocean's 11, give it a whirl, man.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of wives getting into to business with their husbands, we're going to talk about Game of Thrones a little bit. And you might be like, what does Game of Thrones have to do with this? Well, we have one section, but I thought of this segue just right now. So Miguel Sapochnik,
I did hear about this.
Of Game of Thrones. Yeah. He was the showrunner for the first season of House of the Dragon. He is not coming back for season 2.
Yep.
Which makes me sad because it was on both of our top 5 list of.
That was announced a while ago, right?
It was announced a while ago, but we didn't know what it was, why he was leaving. And apparently it's because he wanted producer credits for his wife,
who was in a few episodes of the first season, apparently.
And I think she was listed as producer for or some sort of producer credit for the first season. And HBO, for some reason, doesn't want to give her the credits.
They didn't want her on the producing team at all, I heard.
Yeah. And they brought in a mediator, and they couldn't cool things off. And he left, and she left, and
very wild.
He even fired his agent, so he was going to a different agency. So very interesting. I think good for him.
Yeah, I mean, putting your wife or family over your work, it's super noble. I'm very curious why HBO or Warner Brothers was so against it. Considering how great of a job he did in the first season,
I mean, it's obviously something with his wife.
Yeah, I mean, it's on her end, or to them at least.
We don't know, but it's something about something they don't want her. But it's weird because I think she's listed as some sort of producer
in
credit.
The first season. Yeah,
and I think it was stated in an article that it was they cited her lack of experience. But it's but she
had experience on the show.
Sure. And it's she had even less experience when you put her on credits for the first season.
I'm thinking maybe this is the new ownership group who came in and was like,
maybe.
Yeah. Because, they weren't involved in that first season at all.
Maybe. But I just thought it was interesting that it happened. I think like it's really unfortunate that they couldn't work this out because it's like he did such a great job. Yeah. And now he's,
I know. I think, what is it? Like the co-showrunner is like stepping up, or like, I know somebody close to the situation is like the new showrunner or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'll probably still be a good show.
Yeah. I'm
hoping, but
I've seen like, the one I know of that I can like, and obviously it worked out pretty well, is like Greg Daniels for The Office stepped down like after season 4 of showrunner. And Paul Lieberstein stepped in for like seasons 5 through 8. And like, to me, there was really almost no like drastic change in like season 4 to season 5. Like season 5 was probably one of its best seasons ever.
Mm-hmm. I think everything from like 2 to
7, I think.
Yeah.
Very solid. So yeah, I hope it's that smooth of a transition.
Me too.
But yeah, it makes me like a little worried because that vision for the first season was so strong.
Yeah. But the main Game of Thrones news that we want to get to is about George R.R. Martin, who announced that there's been some shows that have been shelved. And
multiple. Yeah.
So, Ian, do you have any?
Yeah, I mean, so the shows that I know of that are at least have been announced for spinoffs have been, we have the Jon Snow sequel that we know about.
Right.
We have the Sea Snake that's going to follow Corlys.
Yeah.
We have 10,000 Ships that'll follow Princess Nymeria.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a few animated shows. Like I know we have the Dunk and Egg.
Is that I don't think that's animated, because I think there's Dunk and Egg and then there's 3 animated shows.
Oh, Dunk and Egg is a live action they're going to do? Interesting.
I think so. And well, maybe it is animated.
It feels like it's animated. I know
but there's definitely another, like one of the 3 animated shows is called The Golden Empire.
Yeah, and that's going to focus like I think, is it like 1,000? It's either 1,000 or 10,000 years before like the show.
And it's like a different
it follows
area.
the Empire, I think.
Yeah, which is like the Chinese,
right? The Chinese equivalent for this universe, right?
Which I think that sounds really cool.
I think it is, but it's like, why? Like, why are we getting?
Why not?
I
mean, it is a step away from like the. I mean, you can still have like some sort of patriarchy, like thing go on, right? In like in that sense, but like I don't know. It sounds like it would be like very Eastern, and whereas opposed like all this like stuff, Game of Thrones is
mostly Westeros, right?
Yeah, well, literally Westeros is like Western culture,
right?
So it would be like a change, but it could be really cool. But
I think so too. I mean,
but like, which shows do you think got
safe?
shelved?
Oh, okay. I think I think there's only 2 shows that are safe.
That honestly. Are safe,
yeah, and I think those are the Jon Snow sequel and the Corlys Velaryon prequel. Because to me, we know that like Game of Thrones was massively successful, and we know House of the Dragon is successful, and those are both spinoffs of those. The others are very like the story is very self-centered on just that, and there's not a whole lot of connections to other stories. Like I think the Princess Nymeria, I would like to see that, like the 10,000 Ships. I would love to see that show come to fruition, because we would get to see like old Valyria, and we would get to see like a very badass, female story where she basically like strands her people in this new environment. And I would just love to see all of that. But I think, unfortunately that could get shelved. And I think probably all the animated shows are most likely shelved.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you're saying, I didn't think about it that way, but that's I think you're probably right that those are probably the safest. I mean,
yeah.
Kit Harington
He's
was like
a box office draw at this point.
Yeah. And they already have success with the character of Corliss.
Right. People like Corliss.
Yeah, a lot. And I'm bummed because I also think that the most excited I am about any of the spinoffs is that Nymeria one.
Yeah, 10,000 ships.
Because I do want to see old Valyria.
Yeah, man. Gosh.
But I've heard a lot about that Dunk and Egg thing because that's a book that George wrote.
It's like a children's book, right? Or was it not?
Well, no. He was afraid that people would mistake it as a children's book.
Okay.
But it's like,
sorry,
and
George.
It sounds super interesting. And it follows like
Aegon and Duncan.
Yeah, well, one of the Aegons, not the Aegon. It's like Aegon the Fifth.
So it's farther than House of the. So I think
it's a little bit after House of the Dragon.
I think it's the Aegon.
Yeah, that
was in. Oh, you think it's that one?
It might be.
I think it might be. Shoot, wasn't the old man at the wall Aegon? I think it might be him.
But the Game of Thrones is still like, I think he's too.
Well,
I think it's
no, but I think it's gonna be Aegon as a kid. Right.
It could be that old man. It could.
We can look to make sure.
Yeah. But it's also been said that nothing's also greenlit, which is a little it's a little I appreciate that I'm assuming taking their time with these series so that they're worth we don't want to just like be getting these series and they're not like good for the whole like brand and universe, but it also might also be that like George is heavily involved and like they need more from him or something. But I was expecting like since the end of Game of Thrones in 2019, and now that we have House of the Dragon being as successful as it is, like I was kind of hoping that they would have more of these series like greenlit by this point, especially like.
Well, I mean, we know the Jon Snow shows.
It's not, but nothing's greenlit apparently.
That's interesting because like from what I had heard about that show is that like it's pretty much done written. Like they're pretty close to like, being done with like the season of it. Now, obviously they haven't shot anything, but like, yeah, it would very much surprise me for HBO not greenlight that show at least.
Yeah, but George also said like things can be taken off the shelf just as easily. So
be put on.
Yeah, I'm not too worried.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody should be worried. Right,
because David Zaslav follows like the success of money and viewership, and like the viewership of House of the Dragon season 1 is like proof enough that like these spinoffs are gonna work.
At least they can work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just interesting. I think you're probably right. Those two episodes, series spinoffs are the most likely to go forward.
Yeah.
But I would say that the besides those two, the one that I would say is more likely to go forward because they have something to go off of, like source material, is the Dunk and Egg one.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know if they'll change the name because like it's not the best title. And I think a lot of people would confuse it with being, but it depends on what the tone is, because if you look at the tone, because I think it is serious, but I think there is like a little bit more of like this adventure, like more a little bit, because especially it's a child.
I will say
it's
I think it could definitely work, but people might have trouble, relating to it or wanting to see it because it doesn't follow any of the characters that like we've seen in either show. like.
But you could say the same thing about House of the Dragon.
Sure, yeah. I mean that, but to me, like, when you mentioned the YT Empire show that they're going to do, or they were planning at least.
Yeah.
Like I said, why to that? Because like, to me, the really interesting thing about Game of Thrones is like the throne. Like the fact that like Jaehaerys conquered the Seven Kingdoms and like.
Well, no, it's not Jaehaerys. It's Aegon.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, because Jaehaerys, was sat, the throne. But yeah, it's like, to me, like the throne is what's like the most interesting storytelling device in Game of Thrones, and and the Targaryen family before that, because they are I want to see stories about like even before the throne where they were in Old Valyria, and like the story of like why the Doom of Valyria happened, and I think all that's super interesting and will lead to the throne eventually.
Yeah.
But like the ET Empire, I think
it's still a show that wouldn't even be about the throne. Yeah,
well, like for Duncan Egg, I'm assuming.
But you could still have a throne in the ET.
Sure. It's just not the one that we know and care about. But like
but you could say the same thing about the Jon Snow thing. That's definitely not going to be about the throne. There is no throne.
Sure, but like...
Well...
Yeah, well, there isn't.
There's not, but there is.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the Jon Snow show, like, that clearly works for me because he is a Targaryen. Spoiler alert. And if you haven't seen it at this point, then, whatever. But, and to me, he's like, the best character of the show, even though he does have
the best character.
He's my favorite, at least.
Yeah.
Like, I think he takes a rough turn in the last like couple seasons arc wise, and they don't write him the strongest.
No.
But I think like, based off the final episode of Game of Thrones, I really wanted to follow almost any of the Stark kids after, like, except Bran. Like,
oh yeah.
I was so excited to see like an Arya spinoff where like she goes and explores the world.
Why don't we do that?
Sure. Yeah. Everyone loves Arya.
I don't know why that's not being discussed.
I think we're probably like, depending on, where it's located, the Jon Snow like sequel, like if it's entirely based in the North, then we're not going to see any of them. But like, I could see,
except Sansa, maybe.
Right. But like, in another version, I think we could see any of those three kids, like Bran, Arya, or Sansa.
Yeah.
And I hope we see Tormund again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He better be in this fucking show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I mean, I think it's disappointing that nothing is greenlit and things have been taken off the shelf. But like, I definitely don't want an overabundance of Game of Thrones content. Like,
yeah,
I would like to keep it a pretty contained universe that they have.
Yeah. Well, speaking about Warner Brothers Discovery, we also have some news about a possible rumored possible rumor that they want to possibly reboot the Harry Potter franchise, and this would be a reboot of the three kids, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and would maybe have the original cast in there.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know if that's a part of it. It might just have to be like an added rumor to it, but let's see.
So they're pulling a 2016 Ghostbusters? Is that what's happening?
It says, while not a done deal at this stage, the alleged reboot would supposedly be a new adaptation of the first 7 Harry Potter novels. You're looking at the original cast, Harry, Hermione, Ron, new cast starting over. It's first of all, it's not confirmed by the studio.
Right.
And we also know that Zaslav wants more Harry Potter.
Yeah, we've heard that from him directly. And And
like specifically, I think he wants like Cursed Child to be adapted.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about the Cursed Child story, and I've heard it's probably the weakest like story she's written, because it is like in a play format, and the story that's
book,
there,
but the book
is like the play.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So I think like a sequel to Harry Potter is not a bad idea at all. I think I would like to see maybe somebody else write a sequel. I don't know who that would be, but I don't know if I like necessarily want Cursed Child to be the sequel.
I think Cursed Child, if it's adapted, could be a good story.
Yeah, maybe.
Like you just have to adapt it.
I mean, I'm not against the next, like, if there's a sequel in the Harry Potter universe, I'm definitely not against it focusing on like Harry's 10-year-old kid. Like, I think that would be very cool.
Yeah. But do you think that,
Albus
first of all, do you think this rumor is true?
I think it could be. Like,
do you think that they're gonna reboot?
To me, the only way a reboot of Harry Potter works is a TV show. Like, well, and the thing is, you would have have every season focus on like one book, and to me that works better than the movie. Maybe is because you get to see like everything from that book in like one season. You get a more fleshed out Harry Potter. And
there's something about that like I'm like, damn, I hate capitalism.
Yeah, but like it's not necessary. Even a TV show isn't necessary. You have a great adaptation with great actors, and I don't think you're going to get anything close to the same quality.
Yeah, I hope the discussion, like this discussion, I hope discussions with online, hopefully there's going to be like a ton of people talking about how this is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, first of all, the last movie came out in 2011, 2012.
Something, I think it's 2011, 2012. Yeah.
It's like way too soon to reboot. This is not like Batman where this is like a whole ass story.
Well, and the fact that we've had like 3 prequel movies since is wild too. Like, they are clearly just like, we got to make money off of Harry Potter. Like,
but the thing is that Fantastic Beasts is not doing what they want,
because it's bad. It's really bad. Like,
yeah, they're not good. I haven't even seen the newest one.
No, I started watching it and decided not to finish.
It's that bad.
No, I mean, I guess I got bored, so maybe it is that bad.
Yeah. So like, why don't so I think what they should move towards having, here's ideas. Do Cursed Child.
Yeah.
But adapt it like so it because it's it's not been it wasn't a best story, or like the time period between Cursed Child and the end of the 8th movie, like what are they doing in that time period?
Aren't they like a part of the Ministry? I think all 3 of them joined the Ministry of Magic and are like Oars or whatever they're called. I
think Harry definitely is.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be very cool, even though maybe all of them look a little more than like 10 years older at this point.
I think you could still do it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it works.
Or focus on some of the professors, but they're like younger. Or like focus on like a Luna Lovegood story, or just like anybody. Well, not anybody, but focus on some of the cast that like people were attached to that were not even the top 3, or like maybe even, I don't know if this is probably not the best idea, but like the Ghost, What's their story?
Characters for a reason.
How did Headless Nick?
We're not gonna like start the movie off with him like telling a story to kids and then like it fades into black and no.
No, I'm saying like a whole ass.
No, that's what I'm saying is that like a spin-off movie with one of those ghosts would start off with like them at like the grand table like telling some kids like this is how I died and then it like goes into the story, you know.
I don't know. I definitely think you have to use original characters from that or like a young Snape, though I don't know like if that would be.
I don't know if we really want that.
Does anybody really want that?
It's like to me it's like I'm almost as off put as that as to like how the Lord of the Rings estate was with like the Netflix pitch. I don't know if you remember hearing about that.
No.
But basically like they were selling the rights for TV show like for Lord of the Rings, and before Amazon bought it, Netflix pitched like a kind of like Marvel Cinematic Universe approach where like they would do a story about like Gandalf and then one about I'm just misremembering.
Gollum. I think there was a Gollum like movie.
What was?
I think I do remember this.
The cool guy's name in Lord of the Rings?
Aragorn.
Yeah, they're like an Aragorn show, and like Lord of the Rings like estate was like mortified by that pitch, and I was like, I get it because that's like a pretty rough pitch to do. Yeah,
I definitely I think that the unfortunate thing is like they can get creative with what they want to, do about this. I mean, because obviously they want to. The thing that's a problem with creativity and like having a entertainment business is like everything nowadays is like focusing on these existing IPs and how more they can like cash in on that.
Mm-hmm.
But to a certain extent, like I think Harry Potter is one of those franchises that like most of the fans are like, I would imagine like we're good with like what we have right now.
Yeah,
like,
we have 8 movies.
Like there's not like you probably should just focus on trying to create like existing, like not existing, new stories
in that existing world. Right.
No, just like just get off of Harry Potter. Like it's just such a hard, and I'm sure like I said, like you can get creative and I'm sure like there's within those limitations somebody's gonna have like a good idea, hopefully. But I think it's just unfortunate that like they feel the need, not the need, but it's like they want to do more, but it's like there really isn't much to do because that's the story of Harry Potter, and you're trying to do stuff. Now, if Fantastic Beasts was
good at all,
this would be a different topic. But like, you not that they can't do something and it'd be very successful, but
I think like they're also kind of in trouble there too with like making future content, because like from what I heard is that like some report was saying that like Pottermore had like a great year in 2021, but then like last year I think their profits went down by like 40%, which is,
do you know why that is?
I think just the J.K. Rowling backlash. Like she has had a lot of hate this year, which I mean understandably so. And I'm like, I don't know if you didn't watch the Game Awards, right?
No, I didn't. Yeah.
So like there was a category for like most anticipated game of next year, and the Hogwarts Legacy game was in that category, and it was like almost complete silence when that was like announced as a nominee.
She has no involvement
in that game. But like people are just like anything Harry Potter, they're just like, we don't want her making money off of it.
Will she make money off of that?
Yeah, it's because it's her IP, like she'll make money off of anything like Harry Potter. Which, that's the game is a whole nother topic. But yeah.
Which actually, what about a new character going through, like going to Hogwarts, like this new game? Like, why
Sure.
don't we do something like that?
Yeah, we all want Hogwarts. Don't set us in 1920s New York. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Like,
yeah,
something within Hogwarts.
yeah.
Another kid.
Hogwarts is just great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that would be it. So on our podcast, we usually, or at least we want to try to start talking about the things that we're enjoying, that, you know, maybe it's not currently coming out, it's just stuff that we've been consuming that we think is interesting or worth recommending. So Ian, what have you been?
Yeah, I've been watching Better Call Saul season 5.
Oh shit, you're up to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've watched the first 6 episodes, I think, of season 5. And yeah, I mean, not much more to say than, you know, like when I talked about it the first time, but like very, very interesting arcs these characters have gone on in season 5. I don't know what you've watched of Better Call Saul. Have you watched season 5? Or
No, I'm not. I'm like on season 1.
But yeah, I mean, I won't say a lot then, for spoiler reasons, but like it just, season 5 isn't going at all where I expected it to, and that's amazing. I'm kind of like, since the start of the show, I've been expecting like certain characters to like disappear from Jimmy's life at points.
Yeah.
And like every time it seems like the character of Kim is like about to disappear from his life, she doesn't, and they like double down on whatever they're doing, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Sure.
Is it good?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's the story's fantastic.
Oh, okay.
I just bought season 6 last night. Funny enough.
You bought it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not anywhere to stream. Like, so you have to like you have to buy it now.
You have to buy. Okay.
It's $10 on Vudu, so that's where I bought it. It's like
that's
it's a really good price for the show.
Damn.
It's usually like $25.
That's kind of it's not on Netflix. It's always on Netflix.
It's only the first 5 seasons.
Oh
yeah.
Wow.
It sucks.
How many seasons are there?
6. And 6 is the last one.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, I have to get it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been watching.
I finished season 1 of Slow Horses.
I haven't heard of that.
It's on Apple TV, and it's.
I guess I got to get that at some point. Huh?
There's a lot of good stuff on there.
Sounds like it.
It has Gary Oldman, and it's
he's great.
Yeah, and it's the like MI5, like British CIA, pretty much. It's where there's this place called Slow House where they send all their like reject spies, and like Gary Oldman.
So is it like a comedy or what?
There's comedic
elements,
things, yeah, but it's like it's also a very serious show. But it's a spy thriller that's kind of funny, kind of
funny.
But
you'd recommend it?
Oh yeah, it was
nice,
really good.
Nice.
And I'm still watching Titans. I'm still.
Where are you at in Titans?
Let's see. I got to the point where they showed like Crane, Scarecrow, resurrecting Jason. And I have my thoughts about that.
Yeah.
But and also like this weird Superboy Blackfire flirtation that I'm like, this has got to stop.
Yeah, well, but you haven't seen like Raven come back yet.
No, no Raven.
Okay.
And I watched The Banshees of Inisherin.
Okay.
That's a movie that's on HBO.
How's that?
It's like dark funny.
Okay.
But it's also very I mean, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, but it's not necessarily a movie that if you're like, oh, I want to have a good time.
Oh.
Like it's really well done. It's just
it's an intense one, I'm assuming.
It's not intense. It's just like it's a very like, first of all, it's set in like the early 20th century, I think, in Ireland.
Okay.
And it's during like the war, like the Civil War there.
It's a cool time piece to set it in.
But they're like on an island off the coast of Ireland.
So very secluded.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like very like, it's kind of like dismal, and everybody's like goes to the pub, and it's good. It's good. Yeah. It makes me. It sounds like I don't like it, but I did like it. It was just like
it did sound like that.
It's just it's sad at times, but it's good. Like I don't know, but it's good. Yeah. That's so. I mean, nice. That's pretty much what I've watched since we've last done the podcast.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I've been still watching Critical Role.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I won't say like a ton about that, but like I play D&D stuff myself, and it's funny. There is like a huge moment in the campaign where like almost 3 of the characters like die, like the player characters, and it really like made me think about like, I guess, my own characters and like writing in general of like character deaths, because like basically it's getting to feel like none of those 3 characters are going to stay permanently dead. And that to me is like, it's like the Star Wars problem where like nothing has like real consequences. If like you can just come back to life, then like, what the fuck are we doing?
Well, I mean, it's not just a Star Wars problem. It's also,
it's the Marvel problem. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that definitely was a bummer in the storytelling point, but I get it. Like, people get attached to their characters, and
But isn't that like a problem that like you would have these? Are you talking about characters that are non-playable, or are you talking?
No, like they're player characters,
right? Like when you just have to kick them out of the.
Basically, what happens is that like in that show, they like if your character dies, then you leave the table. What it seems like a few episodes at least, and then if you have a new character you want to introduce, then they would like, somehow kind of find a way to like, ease you into the story and have your character meet the others.
Yeah. I've never played a D&D campaign.
You played a little bit
long enough to.
You played a few sessions though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, to end things out, along with the things that we watch, I would also like to point music towards people, and I'm going to start off because this is the first podcast of the new year, the first regular episode of the new year, with a song that came out on the very first day of this new year, which is a song called Prism by Joe Van, which he's the lead singer of from Indian Lakes.
Oh, nice.
And I guess this was a song from his Patreon that he did, and he liked it enough that like he wanted to release it, and it's like a cover by.
Does he ever release like music by himself? Or?
Oh yeah. So he did like a whole album, the solo, and it's really good. It's like this song and the album is like folky, reverby, mellow. Nice. It's a nice vibe
for sure.
And then the next one is How Does This Make You Feel by Air, which is like a duo from like the 90s or 80s.
Nice.
But it's like got like OK Computer voice accompanying it.
Nice.
Sort of with, and it's like kind of feels like a Radiohead instrumentation, but then it's like this chorus that feels like something Tame Impala would make up, and it's really like like it's a nice like chill, like you feel like you're like floating. Okay, so is that the vibe this week? Chill music. Well, I guess not. I guess that's and then 2022 was kind of like the year that things started to feel like normal. That I got to go see a lot of live shows. Yeah. And so I wanted to do a live song for that just came out. So the 5-year celebration of a band that I love, which is Idols, their debut album Brutalism. They're doing they did a 5-year celebration album, which is a live performance of them at the BBC introductory stage. Nice. So it's their version of Well Done. It's just It's good. It's
nice,
punk.
Nice.
And then also in the next one is in the line of British punk is my Sex Pistols, who what I'm wearing right now in honor of what's her name? Vivian, who Westwood. She's the owner of the Sex. It's like the shop was called Sex, and it was like the clothes that like formed the punk movement, and that's why they're called the Sex Pistols.
Nice.
When that song is Bodies.
Okay,
it's just great
song.
And then to end things off, we look to the future in 2023, and the song is Teeth by Breakins, and it's like hyperpop, but it's also like the whole album is like math rock, emo, screamo. Not as much screamo, but like also rap, and like there's like mixtape qualities.
Genres,
yeah, and like pop and R&B. So it's just like kind of all over the place. But this song in particular, because there's an Elden Ring reference.
Okay,
it kind of sounds like you're on your way to the final boss.
Nice.
So those are my my recommendations for this week.
Yeah, I don't know any of those songs, so that'll be
check them out.
A fun time.
Yeah, they'll be linked in our link tree on Instagram, which is LastWeekThisWeekPod. I might try to get them attached to the Podbean episode, but we'll see. Yeah,
I've been putting some links and credits in our Spotify stuff, which would be in the Podbean as well.
Oh, so, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, if you want to check us out on any of those platforms, Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, hopefully Apple Music Podcasts sometime soon. And this has been a fun episode 3, I think.
Yeah. If thank you for listening. If you got this far, it's really cool. It's pretty awesome that we're like actually on the 3rd week, and this is our first regular episode of the new year. So
regular episode rather than last week feels a little nicer. We recorded a lot last week.
Yeah, 3 hours. Yeah, it was,
but we had a lot to say on our best of and worst of lists, and we hope you enjoyed that one too.
Yeah, definitely check out our best and worst of. Like I think we had like a really good time talking about that one. And
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely like follow us or tell people about it.
Sure, yeah.
Like we would really appreciate it. So we're on TikTok, Instagram, Spotify.
That's about it.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, thank you guys very much.
All right. Well, until next time.